So maybe you heard about today's World War II update. Well, it's pretty cool. Everybody's actually excited about it, which is already an impressive achievement. When you boot up the game, it feels like a new game, mainly because so many graphics and menus have been changed. Small things like they filmed some new cinematic scenes for the background here. You'll notice the HQ has been made ultra convenient, no more loading it up to check on orders and contracts and payroll, which is good because I've noticed a few bugs trying to load up the HQ. Doesn't always work, but all the playlist icons redesigned, a bunch of camo icons have been redesigned. You can spin your weapon 360 degrees now, which is a weird change that you wouldn't expect, but cool, I guess. Most of the camos are the same in-game, but Chrome did get a small improvement. It looks a little anodized now, with some green and blue and pink highlights. Still not too noticeable. I don't want them to animate it or anything, though. Personally, I'd be happy if they just swapped Diamond with Chrome in how you earn them. Diamond is already very fancy and very recognizable as a top camo. This is an improvement, though. Well, lots of cool new content to go through, but I can tell you one thing that didn't change. Killing 100 enemies blinded by with a signal flare. Classic World War II. When they fix that, I might just have to stop playing. Alright, where to even begin? I'd say the big focus of this update was to overhaul the supply drop loot system, making it far more rewarding, along with, of course, the new Operation Shamrock and Awe, bringing a couple new weapons and a new free map, without bringing a bunch of filler crap that nobody wants. Amazing! I think we have to start with their community update post the day before this update, detailing the changes to the loot system, because, my god, these are good changes. It's like they took the words right out of my mouth from that video 3 days ago. Obviously they didn't, because that's not how these things work, but it's really great to see these changes happen. Usually I don't just go through a list like this, but I'm making an exception here. First off, increased number of weapon-related content. They're doubling down on those categories: weapons, uniforms, new weapons, camos, weapon charms, which you Infinite Warfare players will be familiar with. Excellent, I completely agree. Already in this update, there are tons of new weapon variants available, lots of heroic versions that weren't available before. I can't even begin to list them all. Next up, more ways to earn weapons. In addition to the drops and collections, you'll now be seeing contracts and orders giving you weapons and weapon variants. Right now, one of the weekly orders gives you a Thompson variant, and one of the contracts gives you the Sten if you missed out on it. Although I have the Sten, and I am allowed to buy the contract, so I'm not sure what would happen there. You will notice, however, that the contracts are more expensive and more grindy than they were before this event, and some of them give common drops, not even rares. However, I imagine this is balanced with the fact that the stuff you're going to be getting out of them will be much better than before. Even just watching them get opened in the HQ, I'm seeing a lot more weapons and heroics than I'm used to. If you have the playtime to do these, don't be discouraged by spending 300 credits on a drop. We did the math in the last video. It would have been worth it then, and now they're far more valuable than that. Because of the next item here, lowered duplicate rates. They're supposedly going to be artificially lowering the number of duplicates you get, and that's incredible. I may have to do that commons versus rares comparison sooner than I thought to look into these massive changes. Also, rebalanced category reward rates. Say that 5 times fast. It looks like they'll also be artificially making sure each single drop you call in has a more diverse set of items, not just triple pistol grips or triple calling cards. This should make things feel varied, even if weapons are still harder to get. New special orders in addition to those regular orders and contracts. New categories of items like the charms we mentioned, also camos and reticles. I don't personally care about the reticles, they aren't a big deal to me. And camo wise, I'd always rather use the thing I earned through challenges that shows I spent time mastering all the weapons over something that I just got out of a drop. But I know some people like those things, and they are better than the duplicate emote phrases and pistol grips. Speaking of, they removed the gold foil calling cards, excellent, and they won't be adding any more pistol grips. I was never that bothered by the pistol grips, but I do think it's amazing and hilarious for them to put that in writing here. And finally, they mentioned these armory drops that function like bribes and can be obtained for armory credits. I don't see those in-game yet. They said a new type of drop, so I don't think that's referring to like the Sten contract, but we'll wait and see what happens with those. I have my armory credits ready, that's for sure. So now we should talk about Shamrock and Awe. Gee, I've never heard that name for an event before. You can't miss it. Everything is green, live from now until April 3rd, and this event is already starting off better than the other two. It's different in that it doesn't have a unique type of drop. There is no Shamrock supply drop because there isn't a ridiculous amount of filler loot in the operation. There's one emblem, 1 calling card, 1 helmet, 2 camos, and so on. The rest of the new variants and new camos and weapon charms and all that are just considered regular loot. And that's reflected in the Shamrock collections. There aren't tons of clothing things you need to fill out, only the 2 new weapons, the MG81 LMG and the M38 SMG, being the French MAS 38. I don't know why they've continued completely ignoring the snipers and shotguns. I guess those are harder to balance, but I mean, they could do it. Launchers too, I guess, but I'd be fine without a new one of those. Along with this event comes Shipment 1944. Yep, a Shipment remake available now for Season Pass holders, but don't worry if that isn't you, because it'll be live for everyone only 3 days later, and it is a free map for everyone. Of course, gameplay-wise, Shipment is not the best map. Once people get used to it, get ready for the armored saboteur double satchel charges everywhere. Not everyone will be a fan, but I'm having such a goddamn good time. This was the first game I played, and it's like nobody knows how to play the map. Thankfully, 30 days of MWR playtime are coming in handy. I'm finally home. Whether you enjoy it or not, XP-wise, knock yourself out, and it has a dedicated playlist, my god. Another new playlist, this zombie leprechaun mode. Pretty silly, yeah, but it's just regular game modes where you can hunt down a leprechaun. Alright then. He spawns in pretty randomly, runs around pretty randomly, sometimes gets a little stuck. He isn't easy to find or kill, but if you get him, he appears to give you all of your streaks. So that's something, have fun with that. There is also a daily order for it. Also in the world of daily orders, I'll mention that the social score one, usually worth 25, now gives 250, so that's a nice boost. There were plenty of fixes and things you can read through that I'll link below. One thing I will highlight is the Volk nerf. You had to figure. It now has a bit more recoil, but honestly, it's still very vertical, very controllable, and the damage range is more in line with the other weapons in the class. I'm happy with that. It wasn't nerfed into the ground or anything. There are some other bugs, of course, that I've already noticed, like equipping a pistol grip seems impossible now. They've just been completely excised from the game, apparently. And I'm guessing there are other bugs we will be discovering with time. I've even seen reports that there are loud announcers back in war, just in case you missed bombs being planted on your ammo supply. I mean, I know it's a joke and all, but it's not good. It is a bug. I play with the announcers off still, so it won't affect me, but that's a thing. So get out there, enjoy this new event. You don't need to hear me talk about it any longer. Enjoy Shipment and the XP it will bring. Enjoy the new orders and contracts for weapons and variants. And of course, enjoy this big turning point in the supply drop loot. That has never been the focus of the game for me, hence why it didn't really take any self-control to save these things up. But this update is the reason. This is why I was saving every drop I ever earned, aside from the event-themed ones. There were all those leaked variants in the game forever. I knew at some point there would be a big new wave of variants to get, but this is far better than I expected. Don't say I didn't tell you to save your supply drops. I hope you were patient as well and have some stockpiled to open. If not, who cares? It's just some new weapon variants. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.